What's up, everybody? I am getting ready to do a book review on The Compound Effect. Darren Hardy is a very small, short, thin book that took me I think I only read like 20, 30, maybe 40 pages a day on a good day. And it took me, I think, 3 days to get through this. Great book. This is going to be a book that I put in my yearly rotation of books that I need to read every single year. Its message is simple, but its message is powerful, very powerful. So I want to go through some things in this book. There may be some other people that join us. There may not be. It may just be me and you listen and watching. So I want to go through some stuff in this book that I think is particularly interesting. Darren Hardy talks about in this book. He runs Success Magazine, which means he's going around talking to a whole bunch of different people who are successful. He has Tony Robbins wrote the foreword, which is pretty cool. He's the publisher of Success Magazine. So I'm just going to go through it. This may not take very long, but I'm just going to go through some key points. Got my nerdy glasses on, so I'm going to get in here and go through some key points. Chapter 1, right out the gate, he starts talking about positive habits. Positive habits. It's going to be the theme for this book is going to be choices that lead to behavior that lead to habits. Choices lead to behavior, which lead to habits. So that's the theme through the whole book. And by making the right choices, you're going to have the right behaviors. It's going to lead you to the good habits that done over time are going to compound. And just like compounding interest, 1 + 1 is 2, but 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8, 16, 32, 64. It just keeps hockey sticking up. So that's the theme of the book. So right out of the gate, chapter 1, first page, it says, I will win because of the positive habits I've developed and because of the consistency I use in applying those habits. So 2 kind of key words and phrases there. Positive habits, I will win because of the positive habits I've developed. And the second word there, second phrase, consistency, because of the consistency I use in applying these habits. So we're going to talk about habits and consistency. So jump over here to page 23 in my notes. Chapter 2 talks about choices. Each choice starts a behavior that over time becomes a habit. So again, we go from choice to behavior to habit. Choice, behavior, habit. Awesome stuff. Very difficult to execute. He gives you a plan on how to execute that. We're going to talk about that here in a second. See, here we go. He's got his complete formula for getting lucky. This is how Darren Hardy's formula for getting lucky. And this came from Richard Branson when he interviewed Richard Branson. He says, luck simply comes down to a series of choices. Luck comes down to a series of choices. The difference is when luck came my way, I took advantage of it. So the complete formula for getting lucky is preparation plus attitude plus opportunity plus action equals luck. Preparation, attitude, opportunity, and action all equal luck. All these behaviors, again, we're talking about this. The whole theme of this book is choices lead to behavior, lead to habits. So we're trying to get rid of bad habits and create good habits that will lead us to doing good and being successful, whatever it might be. And these little itty bitty things, these little itty bitty choices are going to make you're going to see no results of that at all until eventually one day you will. So that's what this statement on page 35 about 5 lines down says. What's simple to do is also simple not to do. So it's very simple to choose water over Coke, right? That's like a simple thing it's a simple concept, right? I'm going to choose water. instead of going after a Coke. But it's also simple to choose the Coke, right? And so enough of those simple decisions, simple good decisions, end up creating, those simple choices end up leading to behaviors that will eventually become habit forming, and obviously compounded end up making a difference over time. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not, like making those simple choices. I'm choosing water over a Coke. You guys have anything to add to that?
Just that I tried that a while back, and it does work. I mean, I was able to stop drinking sweet tea and now just prefer water. You know, over time I got used to it. Yeah. And now when I drink the tea, it's just kind of icky and sweet. So hang in there with your Coke. Your Coke habit. You can do it.
I just got a Coke today.
Uh-oh. That's all right. I didn't work out this morning. My friend is holding me accountable. He was like, "You ready to go work out?" And I'm like, "Oh, compound effect. That's right."
I know it's hard, but here's the thing: it's choices, right? It's choice. Everything comes down to a choice.
Well, I chose chocolate over an apple today too. So,
Jennifer, you're better than all of us.
No. I had the chocolate instead of the apple.
Oh. Oh.
So I haven't kicked that one yet.
So page 56 starts talking about habits. 95% of everything we feel, think, do, and achieve is a result of a learned habit.
Yep.
And page 69, we talk about habits, and now we're talking about goals to create good habits. You're not making the progress that you would like to make and are capable of making. It is simply because your goals are not clearly defined, or you don't have goals at all, which was my case about stuff like this anyway. I had like big picture goals. I didn't have little daily triggers. The highest achievers in the world have all succeeded because they mapped out their vision. Again, I had a vision, and my vision is always forward thinking. It's not ever in the day-to-day. And that's one thing that this book really helped me kind of hone in, is more of the day-to-day little things that get me to my big goals over time.
Yeah, that's what I've learned to do, and that's why I got a daily planner. I mean, and I just started this. So, I mean, I've done it before, but I mean, like, continuously get in that daily planner and see what are the most important things. Yeah, I've got about 10 things to do today, but what are the priorities? There's 2 or 3 priorities. One of them was to be on this webinar or this thing. And I'd made sure that, 6 o'clock, I was able to do that.
Totally.
So little things, little achievements.
Definitely. For sure. So page 99, I know I'm skipping kind of ahead, momentum. We talked about in a previous, I don't think either one of you, Chris, you might have been, I don't know if you were on the very first one we did of these, John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. One of his irrefutable laws of leadership is the law of Big Mo, which is momentum. Momentum is a very real thing. Momentum, and Darren Hardy's kind of brings momentum in with routine, the power of routine. Some of our best intentions fail because we don't have a system of execution. So getting into a routine to be able to make these choices, which are going to lead to better behaviors and then eventually to habits. So his system, page 109, is the rhythm register.
Oh, yeah.
Are either of you guys doing this or have done this or anything?
Yeah, I really love this. I haven't been very good about actually completing everything every day, but it helps just to see it there, so that I find that when I finish one task and, not quite sure what I'm going to do next, it helps to have that, just pull that out and say, okay, this is what I have left to do. Need
Totally.
to do that. So,
Can you guys see that? Winners are trackers.
Yeah.
Winners are trackers. You've got to track, and it's so interesting to see. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Maybe I won't. Try to figure out how to do this. Start share.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a daily planner, but this weekly rhythm register really breaks it down, man. This is what I like about it. I mean, it gets down to the nitty gritty, and date with spouse, 30 minutes of cardio, which I lacked today. So I got a 0
You guys
on that.
see my screen?
Oh yeah, there it is.
This is my rhythm register. It's nothing. So I've been doing this. Is the 4th week in a row I've done this. And the thing I've learned the most, first of all, I'm tracking. So I actually get to see with my own eyes, like how many of everything I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is up to date. So it lets me see, like, look, there's a huge gaping hole in like going for a walk. Like me and my fat dog, like, have been going for some walks, but we have not done that this week. And I was out of town all week last week, so I didn't get to do it at all. Just like little things. But what I found with this is the tracking is huge. Now, all of a sudden, because I'm tracking, it's now conscious. It's on my mind. And that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to do it. But when I went through the drive-thru earlier, I had a choice to make. And it was a conscious decision. It wasn't just, I always order a Diet Coke. It was, I thought about it. I chose, again, it goes back to choices, behavior, habits. I chose the Coke. Like, I made that choice. Like, a lot of times our subconscious makes those choices for us, and we don't even think about it. We don't even we just do it. But what the rhythm register has done for me, the first thing it's done for me is it's made me consciously aware of these choices and the bad choices most of the time that I'm doing. But what it's also doing is, what was I going to say? Because I'm tracking, I can see that. I was going to say something. What was my second thing? Lost my train of thought.
Tracking?
Tracking was my first thing. Tracking lets me see that I'm not doing this. Oh, and here's my second thing. It's made me aware that something like reach out to 5 people. It's not specific enough. It's just not specific enough for me, so I don't do it. I end up not doing it. And I'm just naturally reaching out to people, but that's never on my conscious mind because it's just not specific enough. Like 30 minutes of a podcast is super specific, right?
Exactly.
Breakfast from home every day, super specific. Journaling could even be more specific than just journaling. But like no sweets or something like no Cokes. No sweets can be more specific, like no sweets after I get home, because that's where I mess up, is when I get home at night and I eat something stupid before I go to bed. So it needs to probably say no sweets after
6 o'clock, 8 p.m. Right.
So like be
that looks even better. I mean, just as a visual for me too, that's what I'm going to start doing as well, is just like how you're breaking it down. Like journaling, you could say journaling 20 minutes or whatever, 50 or whatever. Yeah, I get it. Text, there you go. That looks awesome.
So just trying to find something that's specific. For me, I think for all of us, first of all, a goal is specific, right? It has to be specific, and it has to have a timeline attached to it. Obviously, I have a timeline here because I'm trying to do these every day, right? So I have a timeline, which is good, but I'm not specific enough, and that's what's causing, very aware, reading is probably the only thing on this list that is just habit. Every day, no brainer, wake up, I read at least 20 pages every single day without fail. Total habit, been doing it since the 1st of January, and total habit. Everything, there's nothing else on here that's like a super, super duper habit for me.
But I think that just bringing it into your awareness is like the first step toward making it a habit,
Totally.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think you have to get to that step before you can get to the second one, is actually implementing.
100%. It all starts with, if I can just move it from subconscious to conscious, to make it, now it's a choice. Because in the subconscious, it's not a choice. You just do it. In the conscious, it's now a choice. I wasn't even, like Darren Hardy's like, go from choice to behavior to habit. I wasn't even, there needs to be something before that. It needs to like become a choice first. So that's where I was messing up. Cool. You guys want to move on? I've only got 2 more things.
Yeah, that was great. That just made me change things here on my book.
Did you download that rhythm register, Brian, or is that just something you built?
I just did it. Okay. I just did it. It looks like this. I think you can go to his, I think there's somewhere on his website that he has, but this is his rhythm register.
Yeah, right on page 109. Yep.
Yeah. That's his rhythm register.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
just made it in a table, like a little cell, whatever.
Yeah.
Page 112, it talks about consistency and the power of consistency. Consistency is a critical component of success. So again, the only way I can sit here and tell you like that reading for me has become a habit, a true habit, like to the point to where it's subconscious, right? That's what a habit is. It's just subconscious. You just go and do it. Like I wake up in the morning and I know I go right to my book. That's pretty much the first thing I do is I go straight to the book I'm reading. Total habit. So there's power when your choices become consistent, your behaviors are now consistent. That's what leads to habits. But that's the hardest part.
And then your results become consistent.
Then everything compounds from there.
Exactly.
Totally. And then the last thing I wrote down. Oh, sorry, Jennifer.
I was just saying, I think the hardest thing with implementing a habit lately for me is if my schedule changes. Like if I have the same work schedule every day, then I can do that. But if I'm off for a few days or if I work, that's when it seems it throws everything out of whack. But I'm aware of that now. So I guess I just need to put more effort into being aware and trying to stay on track, knowing that those changes are going to throw me off.
No doubt about it. Yeah, schedule for me is crazy for sure, especially when I'm out of town. Like I'm leaving on Saturday and I'm going to be gone through Thursday. Like what's that going to do to my rhythm register? What's that going to do to my morning routine? What's that going to do, to all these different things that are, popping up. Like right. you can't get any kind of consistency. So, but you have to just try to figure out how to fit it in. I've become, that book, I just took it into my office, but the book that we're reading, I think we're doing a slide edge after this. I just got finished with a book called Free to Focus. And it really helps you focus in on like, what are the most important tasks for the day? Like to have a big 3 for the day and just make sure you're doing those 3 tasks every day. Make sure you have a morning routine, make sure you do this and like write out your template for your calendar for the week. And then you can kind of, ahead of time, Jennifer, that you're going to be working on these days. So on the days that you do work, you have to try to fit in the things that are most important around, that instead of trying to do everything.
Right. Yeah, I have a tendency to make, like when I did my rhythm register, it was about 3 pages long of all the things I wanted to get done. So I need to prune some of those things.
Yeah. And, and I think I didn't bring it up, but Darren Hardy actually talks about that, like trying to do too much too quick. And so that's why I made my rhythm register as small as it is. And I have actually opened it up a little bit. I've added a couple more things and I went from my goal of doing something 1 time a week because I was hitting that. I went ahead and did it, want to do it 2 times a week now, then 3 times a week, things like that. So you got to start small. You got to get small wins. You have to celebrate the wins too and make a big deal out of the wins. And that way it gives you momentum. Again, the law of momentum, the irrefutable law of leadership is the law of momentum. You got to get some momentum going, and then you can really start to see some big progress. Cool.
Good stuff.
Sounds great.
Page 128. This is the last thing I have. It's really the whole chapter, honestly. It's just talking about influence, like influences, like what's influencing you. We've all heard that you're a summation, or you are a summation, I guess, of the 5 people that you hang out with the most, or you're around the most. So how can you get into more people's spheres to be around better people? And I was listening to Gary Vee's podcast probably 2 or 3 times a week. And the one I'm listening to today, it's a longer one, but it's with Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Workweek guy. Mm-hmm. And he's just dropping some awesome stuff. And he said in this podcast I'm listening to that if you don't have 5 great people to hang around, then pick up a book, like a book, or watch a video, or what, these external influences can be your 5 if that's what you're like. If you're reading John Maxwell every day, you're reading the Bible every day, like those are good influences on you that's going to influence your, could be your 5.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because that's what I tend to do. I mean, if I'm on the podcast, like I listen a lot to Matt Theriault with Epic, and or whatever. I listen to a lot of Tom Kroll, and that hour that I'm driving, I try to make it usable.
Totally.
And doing listen to a podcast, reading, just sharing. I try to hang out with people that are like-minded. And I get it. Like today I went to the Dick's Sporting Goods, and the lady was in front of, in the line there, and she's talking about, I said, yeah, we talked about, some things, and then she ended up saying something about real estate, and I said, well, I find deeply discounted properties. She's like, really? And it was like right there, right in line, just starting a conversation, and
Of course, it's awesome.
Yeah. But this book is awesome. It really is, man. This book is, I mean, you read it a couple times, and it really starts to take a hold of you.
For sure. I want to read a couple of these quotes. Page 128. You cannot hang out with negative people and expect to live a positive life. Page 131. Identify people who have positive qualities in the area of life where you want to improve. Identify these people and get around them. I think it was the next page that said, what do they read? Where do they go for lunch? How can that association influence you? You can build, this is page 132, bottom page 132. You can build these expanded associations by joining networking groups, Toastmasters, and similar organizations. Find the charity organizations, symphonies, country clubs where the people you want to emulate gather. Where are these people? Go and seek them out. It's awesome stuff.
Yep. Absolutely.
And somewhere in here too, he talks about cutting out like negative TV, negative news, negative radio. Yeah, and I've done experiments with that, like not listening to the news, or not looking online with it for a few days at a time, and it really makes a difference.
For sure.
I find just how I feel, my happiness level.
Yeah.
100%.
I think what's also important is an accountability partner, like it's talking about on 133. I have a gentleman that we meet every Friday, and he holds me accountable on a lot of stuff, and we go over our goals for the week or the accomplishments. So that's another important thing that I have, that it works for me,
I have people kicking my butt every day, all day long. My good pal Joe McCall is texting me crap every day. Tom Kroll texts me stuff every single day, like motivational stuff. And are you doing this? You need to stop doing this. And yeah, you have to have people like that in your life that care about you enough to tell you the hard things.
For sure. That's important.
Awesome. That's all I have.